So it's been a week with the HD 599 and I now have something to say about them. But first, let's go over, as always, the build. The build is pretty solid. I noted that in the unboxing and the first listen as well. It's pretty much the same design as with the 560S here in better detail. They pretty much look exactly the same. There are a couple minor differences which I want to point out in this video. So first of all, the most prominent and immediate one is this one. You can see here on the 599, the Sennheiser logo has like this embossed thing, this ring around the grill. And if we compare that to the 560S, yeah, the 560S just looks much sleeker, much more minimalist, and I would prefer the 560 in that regard. It's also, the 560 is just a sleeky, stealthy headphone model because it's all black, it's mostly matte black. The metallic grille is of course a bit reflective, therefore it is not completely matte black. The second thing that's changed from design is the headband. So if you look here, you can see the 599 has this pleather here, this fake leather. It actually feels pretty nice. I don't know about the longevity though, so maybe this will rip or start to flake a few years down the line, but I think this should hold up for at least 5 years of extensive use. Of course, if you use like a cutter knife and slip that open, of course that's not gonna survive that, but that's not the test here. This is just from a usability perspective, this is completely fine. And yeah, a good usable build. The plastic feels pretty much the same. They also have the same kind of weight, although I would say that the 599 is a bit heavier. I don't know where that weight is coming from, but they are slightly heavier. If we detour a little bit and look at the box, we find that Sennheiser is advertising these as refined, sophisticated home audio listening. But on their website, at least the German website, I think the German website is the main website, but on the German website, they list the 599 as audiophile headphones. And I would also do the same thing, but we're getting to sound in a little bit. Oh, and another difference here, I hope you can see that. These screws, there are screws here and here behind the driver or behind the pad. I don't know why these screws are here. They are not on the 560S. They just have screws down here, but not on top where the L and R signs are. They have a different kind of, I don't know, indentation for something, I guess. But they don't have the screws. I don't know what the screws are for. Maybe you can open these and insert a new headband. Maybe that's why they have these screws. Because if that headband is getting damaged, you know, you kind of have to replace it somehow. And maybe Sennheiser is offering replacement parts. I did not look into this. Maybe like Editing K, just search for it. Maybe you can replace these. I'm not sure currently as I'm recording this. Second part is comfort. Now these feel pretty much exactly the same as the 560S. The only difference is the headband, which you can feel the difference. There is more padding on the 560S compared to these, but overall I did not have any problems with these headphones. Yesterday I listened to 3 hours of music with these headphones and no issues at all. They work perfectly fine. Let's talk for a few short seconds about this cable. This cable is exactly the same as for the 560S, but I did not expect anything else. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, maybe I was a bit too harsh on the 560S video, but my main point of criticism was that it's just too long. You know, that kind of proves my point. This cable does not have to be that long, but what I do appreciate is this smaller cable here. This is about 1.2 meters, I think, if I remember correctly, and that's a very nice length for my setup here currently. If I have framed this correctly now, you can actually see my DAC. If you still can't see it, I'm just a dumbass, I'm sorry. But yeah, this is much better. and I prefer this cable, and I also use this cable now with my 560S and with the 599. That being said, I don't know if these headphones actually can be made balanced, because it does have a 2.5 jack, but I'm not sure. That cable does not look balanced. So now let's get to sounds, the most important part of every headphone review. How do these sound? Surprisingly good. I have to make a little bit of a retcon compared to last video, because in the unboxing video I called these not sibilant, which is not the case, and I found that out very quickly after using this. These are very sibilant, not so much that it destroys your ears, or it's piercing and it's hurtful. That's not the case, but these do have a bit of a peak at around 4.5 to 5 kilohertz. Here's the graph. By the way, I'm using the Oratory 1990 graph. First of all, because he's Austrian, so shout out to him or her, I don't know, whatever. But shout out to that person. Second of all, I think that the Oratory graphs just generally look the best. And you can see, if we look at the compensated line, yeah, they do have a bit of a peak at around 4 to 5 kilohertz, but they also are a bit more emphasized on high bass to low mids, which makes these a supremely good listening headphone. I would not really call this neutral or analytic or something like that. Sennheiser also does not call them that. I would call them very good listening headphones. So songs that lack a bit of thump and a bit of body on the HD560S get a little bit of body added on top with the 599. The general sound signature is very much similar. I don't know about the other 5 series headphones. Maybe these two are just the outlaws and they sound just really good, and the other ones don't, because from what I've seen, the other ones have more and more bass as you go down. So the 579 have more bass again, and the 559 also have a little bit of a V-shaped thing going on. So I'm not sure about them. But they're pretty good. Like, I did not have any complaints whatsoever, except for that slight sibilance. From what I've seen, that's present on an absurd amount of headphones, especially Sennheiser headphones. They either have a dip at 4.5 to 5 kilohertz, or they have a peak at 4.5 to 5 kilohertz. So depending on what headphone you get, that will differ slightly. Like, I think the 600s, the OG 600s, have a dip, so they're a bit smoother and a bit more relaxing, and these have like excited highs. So that being said, what would I rate this headphone compared to this headphone? Well, given that they sound much more similar than I expected, I would rate this pretty high. Like, I can't compare it to other Sennheiser headphones. This was my first Sennheiser headphone in the audiophile category, and I don't have any AKGs or biodynamics or whatever. This is just based off from my personal liking, to put it in very weird terms. Now the question stands, because these are priced similarly and perform similarly, which one should you get? Well, that's an easier question than you might think, because I think you should get these. I think you should get these because you both get a fairly neutral sound signature, fairly neutral frequency response, and you get a fun sound. You get a bit more bass, which most people like, and it's just a more enjoyable, like, consumer sound. The 560S is very neutral, with very low bass, which means that it rolls off. Not that it has much lower bass. It does not. Yeah, when it comes to lower bass, these felt kind of lacking because of their more exaggerated high bass to low mids. The very low bass, like let's say 40 Hz or below, felt a bit undersaturated. Like, compared to the 560S, maybe they even have the same roll-off. Here's the graph by Oratory, both headphones laid on top of each other. I've not looked at them on top of each other right now, so I have to do that in the editing process, but maybe they have the same roll-off. If they do, then the low bass is just more noticeable on the 560S because it just overall has less space. Let's just quickly go over the graph while I have it displayed here. Treble, as I said, the peak, maybe some people might find that piercing. I did have a couple of issues, but whenever I run into these issues, I just turn like videos lower or music or whatever. So it's not a deal breaker. Mids are excellent, except for, you know, low mids to high bass because of the exaggeration, but most people would like that sound over the 560S just because it's more consumer oriented, and most consumer oriented headphones just have that bass emphasis, even though a lot of them sound shit, like the Sony XM3s and XM4s. I'm sorry, Sony owners, you're getting scammed. You're paying $400 for a $20 headphone. Links in the description to amazon.com.co.uk, Thomann.uk, and every other whatever I can find that offers these. Also the Sennheiser website, of course. Yeah, very nice headphone. I don't think there's anything left to say. They're very nice. They sound great. Most people will like them. And if you considering both of them and you want a bit of a more fun sound, then go with these. I will still prefer the 560S. As you can see, they're wired in, so I've used them before making this video or starting this video, and I will continue to use them just because they're reference grade and they're neutral and all of that. But yeah, a bit of a more fun sound you can get on these. So thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe, comment, whatever, share the video. Bye. See you in the next video. The next video is also gonna be very exciting.